Good afternoon. My name is Narelle Atkinson, and I'm a child abuse pediatrician at St. Christopher's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia. I'm joined today by one of my colleagues who will introduce herself shortly, but we are here today to discuss with you understanding the basic facts of child sexual abuse.
And my name is Noria Orsino, and I'm the Manager of Victim Services at the Philadelphia Children's Alliance.
This e-module is relevant to all staff who are serving young children. And most importantly, we are here to try and dispel myths surrounding child sexual abuse so that we're improving recognition and ultimately that we're improving the care for these children while ultimately working to prevent abuse in the community.
To define child sexual abuse, it is an experience that a child endures during childhood or adolescence that involves the inappropriate sexual attention from another person, the alleged offender, for their own sexual gratification. And so some of these circumstances include penetration of the child, inappropriate sexual contact, sexual exploitation, and sex trafficking.
Understanding how common sexual abuse is in our society is difficult to do because we know that many children who have been abused do not disclose the abuse at the time that it occurs. They may wait months or years, and some do not ever disclose at all. So getting an accurate picture of how common child abuse, or specifically child sexual abuse, is in our society can be difficult.
Current research says that 1 in 10 children will suffer child sexual abuse before their 18th birthday. And so looking at who commits these acts, 90% of victims know their abuser. And so again, we wanted to dispel that myth of the stranger danger concept, as 90% of victims know their abuser.
Any child can be at risk for sexual abuse, and that's always important to remember. We do know through studies or through our own experience with patients that there are children who appear to have greater risk factors or greater things that are associated with their abuse, such as potentially children who have experienced other forms of maltreatment, such as physical abuse or witnessing violence in the home. A child who may have an unavailable caretaker because of substance use issues or mental health concerns that have not been treated. Children who have disabilities or children with special health care needs are at greater risk for being abused. And then we also know, importantly, that there is an important piece about intergenerational abuse. We see many children who also have caretakers who were abused as children who were never treated. And so we do see that children who have caretakers who have been abused may also be at risk for abuse themselves.
Looking at contributing factors that could lead to a child disclosing their sexual abuse, first is that underlying feeling of safety. A child needs to feel safe in order to disclose that they are being harmed. The presence of a trusting relationship in that child's life, an adult, another peer, someone that they can tell that they are being harmed. And thirdly, that support of that believing and non-offending caregiver who's going to walk the path after the child's disclosure with that child. On the flip side, we also wanted to briefly touch upon contributing factors that could lead to a child recanting their statement of abuse. Oftentimes, stressors often arise after the child discloses abuse, foster care placements, threats by the offender to the child or the family, an unbelieving caregiver or extended family member who doesn't believe that the abuse occurred, and that dependency that the family or the child may have on that offender, and that just kind of disappearing. Those stressors can lead to a child recanting their statement of abuse.
It's important also to remember that likely the vast majority of you that are watching this e-module are mandated reporters, and so ensuring that you file a report of suspected abuse either with the state hotline or Philadelphia DHS when you have a suspicion of abuse.
What happens after a report is received of suspected child abuse? Many of those cases will be referred, the child and the family will be referred to a child advocacy center, the Philadelphia Children's Alliance being one of them, for a coordinated and collaborative investigative process for that child and that family, where members of the children and youth, members of law enforcement, medical providers, mental health providers, all work collaboratively for that child and for that family. The child comes in for a forensic interview with trained individuals who are trained to talk to that child in a child developmentally neutral, fact-finding manner, to allow that child to say for themselves what is happening. That family is also able to be connected to a family advocate who provides immediate crisis counseling for that caregiver present with that child, facilitates any necessary medical and mental health referrals so that that family and that child has all of the supportive services in place that they need. Also able to facilitate and coordinate court accompaniment or court prep so that that family is supported if there is an arrest made on that child's abuse case. And so the Child Advocacy Centers, the Philadelphia Children's Alliance, works under a multidisciplinary team approach to help support that child and that family in their healing process.
I'd like to thank you all for listening in.
Thank you.